Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Ginger from Riverside Productions, and in today's video I am going to be sharing you 5 essential EQ tips within Logic Pro X. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I am going to be using a instance of EQ from Logic, and that is the one within Logic itself, the channel EQ. We're going to be using it on this verse here with this person rapping.
Got hit him with the left or right, but sometimes no, I just can't fight. Confined in my mind all the time.
So first and foremost is the overall volume slider. So with this here, we're actually able to change the volume of the actual channel within the EQ itself. So as I go down, you can hear that the track is going down in volume, and we can actually boost it in volume as well. Now the reason why this is there is, let's say for example we load up a preset for the actual vocal itself. By doing this, I've added maybe a little bit of volume to that vocal track by decreasing frequencies and also boosting them. So I'm able to then adjust the gain coming out of the EQ. Also, if I am doing these type of adjustments, I might be losing volume, in which I can then boost the output gain of the EQ. So the other tip, guys, is going to be the ability to zoom in to the EQ. Now at the moment we are zoomed out completely. So it looks like these adjustments that we have done are not very big. But if we actually zoom in to the smallest amount, we can actually more see the kind of boosts that we are doing. And this is very important. So when I first started, I had the EQ zoomed all the way out like it is now. So when I was doing boosts within the EQ, for example, let's say I wanted to boost at around 2.5. I would do like a boost like that, thinking, you know, that's quite a conservative boost. But if we actually zoom in, we can see that we're actually boosting like crazy. That we're boosting at about 7.6 dB, which is obviously too much. So we want to just be mindful of our zoom level within the EQ, and this will allow us really to be able to make more fine adjustments. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, guys, is the mid and side processing. So for that, I'm going to come out of the vocal and I'm going to go to the piano sound. So let's just play this piano sound for a second. And I'll open up channel EQ again. Now, as you can see here, it says processing. So what this allows us to do is process different parts of the stereo spectrum. So if we have it on stereo, when we make EQ adjustments, we are processing the entire stereo field. Whereas if we change this to side only and then make a boost in the high end frequencies, what this is actually doing is only boosting the sides of that stereo signal whilst keeping the mids intact. So this can be quite useful. For example, we've got like this stereo piano, and let's say for example the mids are a little bit muddy. What I could actually do is decrease the mids by taking down this volume slider, and what we're hearing now is just the sides, because we've actually taken the mids completely out by decreasing the volume. We could also take out some of the mid frequencies just by taking a notch here and bringing down wherever we feel like there's too much mid buildup. So this is a great thing to implement, mid and side process. Okay, the fourth tip is understanding when to use wide or narrow EQ boost. So again, let's open up a instance of Logic Pro's EQ, and we are going to be using this on the vocal again.
Got hit him with the left or right, but sometimes no, I just can't.
So generally speaking, when we're trying to do overall tone shaping, we want to, for example, boost frequencies, right?
Sometimes no, I just can't fight.
And we want to be aware of the Q size. So for example, here we've got a boost at around 2.5, and I like to have the Q at around 1. And what that does is it just gives a more balanced tone boost within that frequency. Whereas when we're trying to look for more problematic frequencies and notch them out, what we'll tend to do is we'll tend to do a narrow boost.
Got hit him with the left or right, but sometimes no, I just can't fight. Confined in my mind.
And then once we find it, we'll then reverse that and bring it down and just notch out that frequency. And we'll have the Q quite small, like you can see here, because we only really want to notch out that particular problematic frequency rather than have it more of a wider Q, because then we're going to be taking out other frequencies that might be needed. The same thing could apply, for example, if we wanted to boost a frequency. Maybe there's like a specific part of that vocal frequency that we want to boost. We might just have the Q very, very narrow. But generally speaking, when we are taking out frequencies, we'll have a narrow Q, and when we are boosting frequencies, we'll have a wider Q setting, because we want the overall tonal balance of that section to be more uniform and not just poking out in the mix. And for the final tip, guys, is using the EQ analyzer. What I'm going to do here is just solo out the drums, and I've got an EQ on the drum bus, and I'm just going to recall the default setting. And at the moment I have the analyzer on within this EQ. So having the analyzer on is an excellent tool for visualizing the frequency content, but it can be quite CPU intensive, especially in Logic Pro X. So what I like to do is, once I've done my adjustments within the EQ and I've used my analyzer, I'll then turn it off. Because what you don't want is to be working on a mix and then having loads of instances of the EQ running at the same time, which they will be, but having the analyzer on at the same time will eat up your CPU. Now, if you've got more of one of those faster MacBook Pros with the M chips, this might not be a problem for you, but I'm using a more older version, a 2019 one, so I find that by turning off the frequency analyzer, I am able to conserve some CPU usage. So there you have it, 5 essential EQ tips that I like to use when working in Logic Pro X. If you found this video helpful, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content in the future, and I'll see you in another one from myself, Ginger, from Riverside Productions.